Every club.
Every day.
The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hey Wolves fans, welcome in once again to Daily Wolves, and it is me with you again, Chris, here, staying glorious with you till the bitter end of the season, as we're almost there, guys. We've got a couple of games left, and it's almost all over. But, hopefully it won't peter out. Hopefully we won't just vanish into the summer with more losses. We want more points on the board. And hopefully that will not only happen because hopefully we'll get a return to form, but on top of that, on top of everything else, obviously today, as I record this for you, Crystal Palace won the FA Cup against Manchester City, 1-0. And so they're going to be off on a high. Hopefully I'm going out for the weekend. They can go out for the next couple of days and go crazy. And maybe we get to catch them with a bit of a hangover. That'd be nice. Obviously, I would love to get one over on them anytime, whether they've won the FA Cup or not. But hopefully it just gives us that little boost. We've had like the week off. We've had no games. Our players hopefully come in fully rested. You would hope that most of the Palace squad, having given everything in that game, or at least a lot of their main starters for the extra 10 minutes or so of added time that they had in that FA Cup final, and then all the celebrations that come after it. Hopefully we get to ease into that game this week with a little bit of extra energy and maybe catch them on a hangover. That would be nice. That would be nice. But is there anything going on for us in the world of Wolverhampton Wanderers to talk about? Obviously, not a load has happened in the short gap in between, but a couple of points of note. One is that the nominations are obviously up for goal of the season. That man that has been the talk of the season, Matthias Cunha, whether you like him or loathe him now, is in there for multiple nominations. And is it just me that feels a little bit begrudged that so many of them are his? It's horrible to say because he did do so much for us this season, but you look at the nums and you're like, okay, I know that Larson scored more goals than that, and he's only got one nomination in there. I thought his finish against Tottenham in the 2-2 was actually pretty slick, but oh well. I'm sure they could have maybe mixed it up a little bit more. It feels like they've gone a little bit gung-ho on the Cunha ride. I know he scored a couple of worldies, but still. Anyway, that's just me. I feel a little bit begrudged. And there's part of me that's like, shall I vote for Hwang? Because that was a nice curve into the net again against Tottenham that day. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just a bitter old man at this point and just want it all over with. Whether he stays or goes, I just want it over with. So get your votes in for the goal of the season. If you're not as bitter as me, I'm sure you vote for one of his beautiful goals that he scored from distance, because it's all been long range beauties pretty much this season. So that's out there. More interestingly as well, they're not normally given any credit for coming in and doing this kind of job, but Vitor Pereira is up for the Manager of the Season award, the FA Premier League Manager of the Season award, alongside all the usual kind of names, including a couple of extra, like Eddie Howe, obviously. But I very much doubt he'll win. You always give it to one of the big names. Probably give it to the Liverpool manager because, they won and Man City didn't. But it's nice to see it. Nice to see a little bit of recognition, at least. I very much doubt he's going to win because that's just not how it works. They'll always go for someone who won the league or did something like that. But it is nice to see him in there. So big up to Vitor Pereira. We all know the job he's done. It's only in the last few weeks when we were in the midst of that 6-game win streak that other people in the league or fans across the country seem to start to take a little bit of note of what was going on as that unbeaten run went through its phase. So I'm glad there is some recognition there coming into play. On top of that, get thinking about who is your player of the season. It's something obviously we'll do a pod on, I think, in the next couple of weeks as we close out the season. Obviously, there'll be the team player of the season, voted for by the team and voted for by the fans. But curious here on the podcast who we're gonna have as our player of the season. For me, actually, no, let's not spoil that. I won't give mine yet. You probably get the idea from some of the names we've spoken about earlier in the season or across the season of the names that I really appreciate. But let's hold out that discussion a little bit longer, shall we? Other points of note for everyone coming into this week are, let's have a look here. Pedro Lima has been called up to the Brazil's under-20s camp in Egypt. ahead of their camp in June. And so they go to the under-20s are having a World Cup in September. So the Brazil under-20s are going away for a training camp in Egypt to play a bunch of other international under-20s teams, getting ready for that. So it's good for him, I guess, that he's called up and going to get some more game time with the young Brazilians, and keep pushing it, keep pushing that skill he's got. And I want to see more of Pedro Lima next season. I'm excited for him. Whether or not Semedo stays or goes, hopefully we get a little bit more Lima, even though we will need cover. I want more Pedro Lima in my life, as I'm sure many of you do, because he's got a wicked cross. On top of that, this week we had under-21s action, which saw the return. The reason it's notable is we saw the return of Enzo Gonzalez and Sasha Kaleidzic after both being out for long periods with horrific injuries. Both came back into playing. Playing game time of any kind is amazing for these players. They've both not had the best time of it. Sasha actually scored by all accounts. His wife posted about it on Instagram. Very excited for his first goal in a year or so, or more, probably, isn't it by now? And so, grats to him. He's a lovely guy. I'm sure he's probably going to be looking for game time next season. Maybe he'll go out on loan, because very much someone is going to buy someone with that much of an injury record. I mean, who else would be as stupid as we were to get someone with such a horrific injury record behind them? And clearly we didn't do our homework on that one, because it didn't work out. But as much as I think he does offer something different, I can't imagine he will be getting much game time with us next season. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Vitor will see something in him. But given how we've been playing and the style, I'll be surprised. And I reckon he'll go and cut his teeth somewhere else and maybe get back to Germany, Austria, somewhere like that. Get some game time on the continent. And hopefully, though, he gets back to some kind of form and at least pushes himself next season to get a return to playing time. And if he can get any kind of career at any level at this point, given the amount of injuries he's had, it's only going to be something of hopefully a return to, well, a feel-good factor for him at this point. He spent so long injured. I just want the guy to do something. He's such a lovely guy, and he's so nice to everyone he meets. He deserves to be playing some kind of football before his career is over, at the very least. All right. Before we get on to a couple of other topics, let's take a quick moment.
Your body is unique, and Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimize your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
And there you have it. In other interesting news this week, though, Wolves and other Premier League clubs, according to several reports from all over, including the likes of the Express and Star, have reported that Wolves and other Premier League clubs are facing sponsorship uncertainty as TGP Europe, the operator of our sponsor DeBet, has exited the UK gambling market. The UK Gambling Commission revoked TGP Europe's license over compliance failures, including weak partner checks and anti-money laundering breaches. Wolves, Bournemouth, Burnley, Fulham, and Newcastle have all been warned about promoting unlicensed gambling websites. So given that DeBet have at least one more year of their contractual agreement with Wolves, this is intriguing news, to say the least, that the UK websites are down for them and they're no longer going to be presumably trading here. Wolves have not commented yet on this news, so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, whether Wolves and all these other teams mentioned in these articles are going to have to change sponsors, remove sponsors from shirts, or because even if these people are paid up, they presumably won't necessarily be allowed to have their name on there, especially if they're not available in this country, because that would be strange. But it remains to be seen. We're still waiting for some more action on this, but keep your eyes on that one. I know marketing and stuff is not necessarily the most interesting for everyone, but obviously it has a massive impact on the strips that we wear and all the planning that's going into that for next season, and they've already done a lot of work there, so I'll be curious to see how that one plays out. On top of that, though, obviously the biggest thing is we are looking ahead to that Crystal Palace game. It's this coming Tuesday, 20th of May, 8 o'clock away to Crystal Palace. If you are travelling down to Selhurst Park for that, then good luck to you. Midweek games are always tough. Obviously, we're hoping they have the hangover, as I mentioned right at the start, because they've got that victory in the FA Cup. And I will just say, though, congrats to Crystal Palace, because we all would relish that as Wolves fans, right? I know I would. And we all still feel a little bit begrudged. And it was all part of the Cunha facade with the red card, the fact that we had an opportunity once again to take that step forward in the Cup. And it's all opened up in a way that you're like, what if? And we had it obviously last year with the loss to Coventry and all these things. And then was it 5-6 years ago when we lost in the semi-final to Watford in such a horrific way, and all these opportunities we would kill for these opportunities to take some silverware. And this is what we want Crystal Palace is showing everyone, that it is possible, and we should be doing the likes of what they have done already this season, because they've turned things around and gone on the cup run, and that's what we want. But I will say their first ever piece of silverware in their history, considering how such an old team they are as well. That is quite astonishing. So big up to them. I'm happy that, as much as I don't really have any love for Crystal Palace, I'm thankful to see someone who's not Man City winning the FA Cup. I'm happy to see someone who's not one of those big names that we're familiar with winning the FA Cup, someone different, and a fan base that, whatever you think of their team, a fan base that relishes and understands the joy that will bring them. The FA Cup just meaning to something to a fan base is huge. And watching it today, I was reminded how much I miss, and again, this is just me being a curmudgeonly old man, I miss it being the finale of our season. I miss the FA Cup being the last game, when the season is over, and the FA Cup used to end everything. And that was it. That was the culmination of our football season. And it was the whole day. You'd have the coverage on all day, and the coaches going to Wembley. They used to televise the coaches going through London on the way to Wembley from the hotels. And it was a spectacle that the world tuned in for. And it feels now like it's just, I don't want to say just another game, but it almost feels like it for a lot of people, because it's shoved in a couple of weeks before the end of the season. And obviously all the focus is now on Champions League and all these other things. And then a lot of the big teams don't care about it anymore because they're focused on Europe. And there is still so much magic to be had in the FA Cup. And it feels like it's drifting away a little bit every year. So that's why I am at least thankful that someone who's won it, who is going to appreciate it and care about it. And they are not going to forget that moment, those fans that have waited all of this time. So whatever you think, congratulations to Crystal Palace. I am happy that someone else has won it. So that being said, though, hopefully they have the hangover. Obviously, they are in 12th place. We've dropped to 14th after results during our loss to Brighton. Crystal Palace's form in the league last few games, their last 4 games, 3 draws and a win. Actually, if you look before that, they had 2 losses. So they've actually been a little bit out of form in the league, maybe focused on the cup run. We obviously are coming off the back of 2 losses prior to after our 6-win streak. So hopefully a good opportunity for us to bounce back. We're still waiting on news. The press conference should be on Monday from Vitor in terms of updates to injuries from the likes of Hwang, whether or not everyone is fit. So we're waiting on some more news there from that press conference. But as always, Vitor likes to keep it very much similar. So outside of any massive injuries, I presume we will see much the similar formation to what we've seen, the lineup to what we've seen with Cunha, Manetzi, Larson, if he's fit, pretty much the standard formation. I'm not expecting any massive changes there. It's really going to be about who's on the bench and who's coming on a sub. That's pretty much it. We all know par for the course now. In terms of the result, though, what are we expecting? If Palace come into it hungover and are a little bit tired, then hopefully it won't be the toughest test. I still think, obviously, they're going to be a solid side. Every Premier League game is, but I'm going to hope we get back to winning ways on this one. And let's hope that we close out therefore with 2 wins. But for this week, with the hangover, let's say a 2-1 win to Wolves. And I'm going to hope among hope that Larson gets on the score sheet again, because I really love that man. We need him flying into form for the summer. We're going to need him next season, particularly if Cunha does go. I want that man to be keep racking in the goals. Keep it going. And I don't want it to be all about the Cunha show. Forgive me, everyone. But yeah, hopefully it returns to winning ways. Anyway, everyone, just a little quick one from me before the coming game, and wanted to catch up with you after the Palace win because I think it was integral. It's integral for our game and Tuesday, how Palace did in the cup today. And so, yeah, big up to Palace, but hopefully it's actually the better thing that could have happened going into the Wolves game, them winning, because they've got nothing left really now to focus on, and hopefully, an easy, I don't want to say easy, but hopefully a good 3 points coming this Tuesday and back to winning ways. So take it easy, everyone. Enjoy the next few days, and hopefully we can kick off our last couple of games with 3 points. And remember, whatever else, House of Darkness, cometh light.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.